Hello and welcome to Cornish Walking Trails. Today we're here in Newquay. One of the huge attractions about Newquay is the surf and the beautiful golden beaches right at the foot of the cliff. We're going to walk those beaches today to Porth. Our walk today is inspired by Bob Acton's Around Newquay. In walk number 6, he takes us along the beaches and then brings us back along the southwest coast path. He does note careful timing is important. Check the time of low water and aim to reach the northwest end of the beach at Lusty Glaze. In other words, if you do the walk exactly according to these instructions, start an hour before low water. Newquay is on the north coast of Cornwall. So let's talk car parking.
Car parking. Yeah, there's loads of car parks in Newquay. For our walk today we started near the harbour, so try and pick something close to there. There's lots up near Fistral Beach area. Or you might be able to get lucky and park on the road.
Yeah, like we did.
Free of charge.
So today, Newquay is very much a working harbour. Plenty of fishing boats bringing in crabs, lobsters, all sorts of fish. End up on the plates in many restaurants near here. It's not always been the case, and we're going to give you a little bit of history about Newquay Harbour as we walk around. Our guidebook today tells us something about Newquay Harbour. Gives a little bit of background, says there's been a harbour here since 1396 in various forms. But in 1825 the manor of Towan Beach, which was the old name for Newquay, was bought by a Londoner, Richard Lomax, and he started work on the South Pier. Soon afterwards the harbour attracted the attention of great industrialist Joseph Thomas Austin, who needed a port on the north coast in addition to power on the south to serve his mines and china clays. The interesting thing about Joseph Thomas Austin is that in 1838 he actually changed his name to Trefry. Why did he do that? Did he want to sound more Cornish?
In 1838 the harbour was bought by Foy industrialist Joseph Trefry to use as an alternative port to Foy and Charlestown. He built a tunnel from the harbour up to what is now Sainsbury's car park to carry a railway line pulling wagons to transport materials from the quay. He also built a tramway linking the top of the tunnel to the train station. Coal, manure, salt, timber and limestone were shipped in. In 1872 the central jetty was built to increase the amount of space available for loading schooners. This was linked to the South Quay by a wooden trestle bridge that carried the railway line. It's that wooden jetty which we saw in the old photos, which I think was built in the 1870s. It's carried on big joists and wooden beams all the way up there. It's actually behind the building which is now the lifeboat station, into the tunnel on the way. Found the tunnel entrance.
So you think this is the tunnel they used to bring the china clay
into
the boat?
Yeah. Obviously it's quite a drop down to the harbour here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they actually built a tunnel at a slope that would bring all the trucks down so they could load it up onto the ships.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Oh, you'd miss that these days, wouldn't you, with all the buildings around it. So what did for Newquay Harbour in the end?
So the way I understand it is when steamships came in rather than sail ships, the harbour was too small. It couldn't really cope with the steamships.
Oh, I see.
And when china clay was exported, most of it ended up going through to sort of Foy, I think, and Par maybe.
On the larger boats?
On the south coast, yeah.
Okay, so Trefry hedged his bets. He had a harbour here on the north coast at Newquay to take his china clay.
Yeah, and I think he had another one at Par.
Right, which is on the south coast.
Yes.
So he could go either north or south,
yeah,
depending on where his exporter was, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I walked today, so we're basically going to walk all the way as far as we can along the beaches.
Yes.
And then we're going to come back in through the town.
So we said earlier it's quite critical about the timing today. Low tide is at 11:47, so we need to be hitting that point going round to Porth at 11:47, and we'll judge whether or not we can get through. There is another alternative. We can go up the steps behind Lusty Glaze Beach, so it's not lost.
Okay.
Always not lost. So we can go around the bottom of the pier here. Do you want to take that route?
Oh yeah, through the harbour entrance?
Yeah.
Oh,
come on then.
I can be a boat.
Yeah. Where's that dog? Come on then, boy.
You know when you get those phone calls and people phone you up and they say, would you like to take a survey? How did you get that home? Do you remember Family Fortunes?
Yes.
Quiz show on the TV?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember they always did a survey?
Yes.
Our survey says that 100% of people will enjoy this walk.
I don't think we can get through there. That's going to need some timing, isn't it? Look at all those eddies. Timing, is it?
Yeah, timing. Timing is all important.
Well, there's a shallow wave coming in. I think I might wait for that one. Oh, it isn't even going to get here, is it? Boy.
Shoes.
Yeah, you got wet feet. Look, it's still going in. It's all in the timing. The thing that you've really got to do is look so cool, isn't it? As you walk through, like, yeah, it's no problem.
Oh, I definitely look cool. Shoes.
Yeah, I saw him get wet feet. I saw you get wet feet. Check out some of this surfing. I've never stood up on a surfboard. As a kid we used to go bodyboarding, me and my dad. My mum couldn't swim. She was in the generation where Cornish beaches were still covered in mines just after the war, and it wasn't really the thing for children to be taken to the beach and taught to swim. So she can't swim. Could only go down when my dad was around, and we used to bodyboard, which I really enjoyed. It was great fun, but I never actually stood up on a plank of wood.
Sarah, I got a Cornish confession.
What's that?
Well, I'm a proud Cornishman.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've never ever been surfing.
Do you know what I've just said to camera?
Oh, what?
Never stood up on a plank of wood.
Oh. you just walk with your plank.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that's always put me off is the water's always really cold, isn't
I know.
it? And when we were kids, you didn't have like wetsuits or dry suits or anything like that, did you? You basically went in your trunks.
Yes.
And the only memories I've got is getting really, really cold and not enjoying it.
Yeah.
So neither one of us have ever really tried surfing, have we?
No, I mean, I'm quite happy to go in the sea, but it has to be a nice warm day.
I reckon there's a video in this.
Well, us learning to surf?
Yeah.
Oh, crikey, after you, mate.
Can you imagine it?
No.
It's just one massive beach there, isn't it?
It is, and that's the beauty of Newquay, isn't it? That the hotels are on the cliff top, you walk down the cliff top and you're on the beach.
And there's sandy beaches as well, aren't they?
Flat, safe. Well, you have to be aware of the tide, obviously. It's a very bright, sunny day today, but there is actually an island straight ahead of us. And as we get closer, it will become more apparent. In 1900, there was a bridge built to it, and it used to have chickens on it called Jago's Island. Now you have that fancy Edwardian style bungalow. I was reading an article on one of our local websites, and it explained that the person living up there at the time thought that she would be able to look out and see everybody, but in fact it became completely the opposite, that everybody seemed to be looking at them living on the island. And there were people that would come up to the door and say, can we have a photo on your bridge? Can I propose to my girlfriend on your bridge? And just peek at the roof. Got to be up at the cliff level to get a good old geek. We will do that on the way back.
Can't be many houses where you've got to cross a bridge just to your own private island.
I know.
It's incredible they actually built a house up there in the first place, isn't it?
Do you think it must be one of the smallest inhabited islands?
It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah, well, on our walk coming back later on, we'll see it from the top of the cliffs here and probably get a better view of the house. But just looking at the bridge actually reminds me of the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol.
Yeah, like a mini version.
It is, isn't it? Okay, we've been lingering too long.
Yes, we've got 40 minutes to the lowest point at low tide.
Right, so we're going to put the foot down a bit.
Yes, let's crack on. Cross Tolcarne Beach and get to Lusty Glaze, and then we'll see if we can get through round to Porth. Oh, come on then. Good boy. Did you get lost? Did you? Oh, sweet. Stay with us.
Most people check where they are by looking at their phone. You dig out a guidebook from 1937.
You just told me off for doing that.
I did.
I was just checking our facts.
Where are we then?
It's Tulkan. I've never seen it from like this far out at sea. Here. So that's Tulkan Point and the Great Western Hotel.
Okay. Cliff
Road is up there. So we're out here somewhere where the sea is because it's such a low tide. So this is Tolcarne Beach. Not distinguished very much today because the tide is out. Above you've got the brand new building, a hotel. I believe it's a travel lodge. And then in complete contrast you have the hotel built for the trains, the railway. Our next beach, just around this headland, Lusty Glaze. I do love that name. Where did it come from? Why call a beach Lusty Glaze? It's a horseshoe shaped, it's actually privately owned, but it's open to the public. We're power walking there, got 20 minutes to that nip point. Otherwise we're heading at 133 steps out of Lusty Glaze Beach.
Good if we could go all the way around, wouldn't it?
I know, it'd be fantastic.
So is this an ultra low tide or is it just a...
Sunday is the lowest tide.
Okay.
That's when we get
so
the spring
really
tide.
So you really do need to check your tide times to do this?
Yeah, and know the difference between your spring and neap tides, because obviously they change in volume according to the moon.
But obviously as you come to each of the various beaches, most of them have, well obviously exit points there for you.
Yes, you can usually get up the cliff at some point. Tolcarne you can get off there, and you can get off at Lusty Glaze. Gosh, this is deep. Don't like that. Get wet feet. Andrew's making a beeline for the headland. Oh, he's stopped to think about me, I think.
How are we doing for time?
It's 11:34. We've got 10 minutes to very low tide, and I think even now it's going to be a question of timing it.
Let's go and have a little look then.
Yeah. Oh dear. We tried to get round, and in rescuing the dog, I'm soaked. Wow. Yeah.
Bit damp.
Bit damp. Gosh, it crashed up against your arm and everything,
Yeah.
didn't it? Oh, they've actually taken their shoes and socks off. I need to empty my shoes. This is not very comfortable. Oh, it feels like there's loads of water in there, and there's nothing. Oh, I've got that all the way back.
It's your foot.
My foot. Yeah. Nothing. Feels like I'm walking in water. Must all be in the spongy bit. Oh.
Yeah, I think we just missed it. That's why I don't come to the beach. I don't know, I'm kitted out for it.
You're waterproof, you're right.
If I didn't bring my pasty, it would have got wet. It would have been overly salty.
But look at that view.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
So tide times were out for about 10 minutes, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously coming in. We had to have bought that.
Yeah, so even as locals, we felt confident that we could do this.
Yeah.
We'd researched the tide time, we'd researched the tide depth, and this point to us wasn't passable.
I mean,
today.
If we had shorts on and we're just wading through, it'd be fine.
It's fine, isn't
probably
it?
Up to there, top of your knee roll.
Now my shoes feel like a lake, and they're heavy as lead. And it's the first time ever that I've had wet walking boots.
My pants are wet.
Ah! Okay, you win. So we're going to try these 133 steep steps out of Lusty Glaze. We should have just done it in the first place.
What's impressive is, you know, there's 133. I'm going to count every one, and if you're wrong, you're going to have to say on camera you got it wrong.
No, because I took it off the internet, so then you can complain to all those websites that say there's 133 steps, so they got it wrong.
Do you believe anything you read online?
Alright. No, because I read the tide times today online,
yeah.
And I read the tide depth. If everything had gone to plan, we should have been able to get through there today. I'm a little bit annoyed. Oh, how silly.
I've seen them do this when there's floods. They put a line up the wall to see how far the flood reached.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I found a 2-foot flood line.
My consolation prize is loads of sea glass on this beach. It's not cute, isn't it?
This is delicious. It's orange and chocolate. It's like a giant Jaffa cake. Really nice.
It looks amazing.
It is amazing.
You're a happy boy
I'm
now,
happy
aren't you?
now.
Even if we have got wet feet. Oh, beautiful.
What do you get?
Yeah. Sweetie pie! Come on!
Feet dry?
No.
I've stayed animal cake gun.
Disgusting. Right, we've got to walk a mile and a half back now. Across the cliff. Do you know what?
What?
I recommend aborting try and get round to Porth.
Yeah, definitely.
And come here for a coffee and cake instead. Oh, have you seen that?
I'm going to count them. How many did you say there were?
133.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Half. Okay.
Half.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
As ever, he's off like a shot. He'll probably do his running up there in a minute. I won't be there to film it. I'm going to do the leisurely ascent.
106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111.
What are you on now?
120, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Ah, hang on. What was I on?
I don't know.
Ah.
I have to go back down and do it again.
Oh, God. There we go. 25, 27, 28. You right?
Yeah. What are you up to?
100 and...
You've forgotten again.
Oh, God. Oh, come on. some.
Some beans, my lord.
Yeah.
Okay, so that road takes us down to Porth.
It's helpful, but
Do you want to go and have a bit geek?
Well, we are professionals.
Come on then, we'll go down, see what's down there. So here's Porth. This is where we were trying to walk around the headland to reach. That bridge looks interesting. Ooh, I wonder if we've got time to go and have an investigate. In his book, Bob tells us a bit about Porth. He says it was originally called St Cullen Porth and it was named after the Irish saint Columba, who's supposed to have landed here. Old maps show that there was once a forest where the beach is now. On the other hand, seashells have been found up the valley. Although hardly a sheltered haven, Porth was used as a harbour for cargo and fishing vessels from ancient times when local iron and other minerals were traded until earlier this century, so it's like the beginning of the 1900s. And he tells us that ships carrying coal would come in on a high tide and unload on this beach.
I find it really interesting, you know.
Which bit?
Well, both bits. So that was a forest on the beach here at
Yes.
that stage, and you said there was seashells found
Up
further
the
up in the valley. So that obviously indicates that the sea levels have risen and fallen over the years.
Yeah.
So there was a tsunami maybe. In fact, they brought the coal boats in here as well.
I know.
It's a huge beach, isn't it?
Yes, they must have been quite big ships, I'd
I just
imagine.
had to time that so well to do it.
I know, skill.
Yeah.
So Newquay is a relatively new town in Cornwall, and then tourists arrived and the properties went up one after another. Hotels, B&Bs, accommodation. Porth is similar, and you can actually spot, which I enjoy doing, which are the older properties in the village. So let's have a little look. I think there's a little cluster near that brick building. To the left of it looks like a 1930s property, and to the right behind the wall are older properties, and then further around to the right near the trees they're newer. So it's quite easy to read the development of this little village from the centre cluster of little cottages going out then to the 30s and a big boom time, presumably post World War II. Big crane over there, so that would indicate they're still building, perhaps they're filling in the gaps. I'm glad we're coming out to the headland. Not only can you see the headland here at Porth, which is a natural thing, you can see the Headland Hotel in Newquay. Amazing. What a fantastic view. Before we get to the headland though, we've got to cross this little bridge. What is it about bridges in cliff tops that makes you feel like a kid, like, oh, this is an adventure? So the whole headland was an Iron Age cliff castle. Well, that makes crossing that bridge even more exciting, doesn't it? Because you can imagine going over there and being confronted by Iron Age man going, halt! Who goes there?
It's good they got a drone shot from 400 BC, isn't it? It's quite impressive.
Oh, come on, let's find this bridge. Yay! Look at this! Welcome to Porth Island! Oh my goodness, there's a surfer out there. If I can zoom in on him, it'll give you a good idea just how big those waves are today. What are they, about 10-15 feet? Oh, yes. incredible. Well, you definitely couldn't get around that headland now from Lusty Glaze to Porth. Newquay all laid out before us. What a fantastic spot for a picnic lunch. Look at that view. Absolutely stunning. So we're going to head back into Porth and then pick up the southwest coast path. And it'll follow the cliff tops of those beaches that we were walking along earlier. Now let me just show you what's happened whilst we've been wandering out here and having our lunch. This is Porth Beach, and that first little spit of rocks is where we were trying to get through and got terribly wet earlier. Lusty Glaze is behind, Tolcarne. Towan Beach is in the distance with the harbour. And it looks like Lusty Glaze is now cut off from Tolcarne as well. So the tide comes in pretty quick.
You're changing your battery?
I am.
Well, whilst you're doing that, I'm going to go and show our subscribers something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to look?
No. I'm going over here.
Where are you going?
Round here, I want to show our subscribers something. It's a secret pasty bench.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Look at that view.
Oh. Needs to be tilted that way ever so slightly. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. We are slightly protected from the onshore breeze.
Wow.
It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah. Where's your pasty then?
Oh, should have missed a trick, haven't I?
Flaw in your plan there, Andrew.
Sandwiches. Well, when I get home and watch this video on YouTube, I'll know to bring a pasty with me next time.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, bring a pasty, sit on this bench, enjoy the views. Amazing. We are definitely now leaving Porth to pick up the southwest coast path back to Newquay. This area we're walking through now, it's called Barrow Fields, and there were barrows here from long ago, but they didn't know what they were, and they got rid of them, built over the top of them, whatever, and they reckon there's only 3 left here now.
This is Barrow Fields, is it?
Indeed.
This is like Bronze Age burial grounds, is it?
I believe so.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Reminds me of that place where, you know, when they used to have old sort of garden tools and what have you, and they used to bury them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like wheelbarrows?
Yeah.
Wheelbarrow Fields.
Wheelbarrow
Is this where you're going with this? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, you beat me to it, well done.
Newquay Junior what? I don't understand. There we go. Newquay Junior School. If we stayed long enough, they'd be down there in a minute, wouldn't they?
He's been waving to them, trying to get their attention, and none of them have seen it.
Just ignoring him, aren't they?
Massive great sign on the beach, and nobody's seen it.
We're going to leave Cliff Road now and pick up the southwest coast path following the tram track.
The tram track was originally laid as an integral part of the Trafry's Newquay tramways in the mid-19th century. The Newquay town section ran from the Trenance Viaduct to the western side of 4th Street and thence by tunnel to the harbour. The first trams or trains were horse-drawn and carried ore from East Wheel Roads to Newquay Harbour, returning with coal and other supplies. The tramway ceased to operate in 1926.
It's quite fascinating that this has survived as a green area.
I've noticed it's been developed, hasn't it? So this area is called the Killer Corpse era. And it said if you'd come here 150 years ago, it would have just been fields. You probably would have seen some animals grazing or the farmers' crops. It's good they've been able to keep it as a nice green space for people to enjoy.
Help the community. Tick box. Almost an island again. Almost, but not quite. Give it another half an hour, it'll be an island again. We'll get you out there one day.
Very hot. How would I keep my pasty dry?
Specially designed wetsuit. I have a pasty pouch for Andrew.
Keep my crimp dry.
Oh, God.
There's nothing worse than a soggy crimp.
A soggy crimp.
I want one of them.
We're going to make our way back to the car now. If you've enjoyed today's video, please subscribe, like and leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Our walk today is inspired by Around Newquay by Bob Acton. It's walk number 6, Newquay itself, a beach and seafront walk. Our walk today was inspired by a Bob Acton book which took us all the way along the beaches to Porth.
Yeah.
He got there, we didn't.
We nearly did. We had to abort, come up the steps at Lusty Glaze.
Yeah, and then we carried on down into Porth, found an Iron Age fort with a perfect picnic spot.
Yeah, and coming back, beautiful views along the coast. Really enjoyed it today, it's good.
I have too.
So we're going to score this walk?
I don't think we'll score the walk itself because we didn't follow it strictly, but for inspiration, 10 out of 10.
I agree.